If possible, 2 minutes. No, no, no. Okay, yeah, we can do one little lobby, a 1 minute lobby. And we're live actually. So, hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to Logikin, your favorite show about what's going on in the startup ecosystem in tech. More specifically, we're all about tech. Let me say that tech, tech, tech. Let's start with the lobby. We haven't done those in a while. Ilias, how are you doing? And Ilias and Piers.
Hello there. I'm doing wonderful. Very, very exciting time coming up this week and next week.
Crazy busy weeks, life really. Simran, is it busy on your end as well?
Very busy, very busy.
Very busy, and we have two more guests. We usually have just one person for the deep dive, but we felt extra special this week. So first we have, let's go with Catherine.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
Catherine. So what are you gonna talk to us about?
Actually, I'm pretty new at this, but at Opera de Montreal, we're leading a big research project for almost 2 years now, and we have the opportunity to participate to the Coopérathon this year, and we're very excited about it. So can't wait to talk to you about that, guys.
Nice, open innovation and music. This is fantastic. And we also have Alexi that is also up to something with Coopérathon. What are you up to?
Hello, everybody. Yes, indeed. We're super happy to support Coopérathon this year again. This year is even bigger. We're launching a challenge around virtual care, and I can't wait to tell you more about it.
That's
Perfect.
super
Well,
exciting.
you will have to wait more about it.
Right,
Sorry.
exactly. We'll talk
Time
about
is
it.
running down. Exactly.
You might see, Tan, what I love about this, and I will let you dive into the news, that like Alexi is an entrepreneur. He has been involved in the ecosystem for a very long time. And I'm super grateful to have like a startup that is just like 4 years old, who has been doing great and who gives back not only their time, but today with a challenge for the next entrepreneurs. And something like Opera de Montreal and opera in general, that is like centuries, if not millennials behind us, who's innovating and working on this, like how can we leverage the intelligence collective to do something really cool. So like we have the old, the new, and everything in between. So that's very, very exciting.
Perfect. So thanks for that teaser, Ilias. And that teaser will happen in about 10 minutes ish. Me and Simran will run and gun through the news that we have. So we'll see you, Ilias, Alexis, and Catherine. Don't go far back. Well, you're stuck home probably or in the office, so we know where to get you. See
I
you,
know.
Ilias. So
Well,
let's tout de suite. So let's go with the news. I was looking, let's go with the highlight section. The highlight is when we grab the news for the last week. In this case, we talk about open innovations. We open up the definition of time. Let's say it's not just 1 or 2 weeks. We've been a bit more generous. Simran, what's going on in open innovation, or what happened exactly?
I think like something I would wanted to say was from past 2 weeks because of Cooperathon and a lot of discussions within the team as well. I'm pretty new to open innovation too. Like I found out the word when I was working with Cooperathon, and like the whole week we have been having so many discussions on open innovation that I feel like it's good. It's something new, and for me like academia and that part is something that I feel like I understand for now, and looking forward to understand more. So yeah.
It's true. And by the way, if you, I'm curious to know, Dennis, you can maybe display the message. What comes to mind? What comes to your mind when you think about open innovation? It is new. You really don't even have to apologize about it. It is new for pretty much everyone. It's something that's been in the work for a long time, but the concept, the way we use it right now, it's fairly new. In terms of news, let me pick up the first one. It's something I've seen from the government of Quebec. It's one of those new programs. You guys know we cover them time to time, and they're basically here to support. They call it primo adoptants. So basically, if you want to use a new technology, Dennis, that's the first one in our highlight. If you want to use a new technology, so there's an interesting funding. So basically, it's up to $50,000 per enterprise. Sorry, I have it in French, but the government loves this stuff in French, and that's very, very fair. It's called Appui aux jeunes entreprises innovantes à fort potentiel de croissance. But essentially, it's up to $50,000 if you want to use a new technology, and it's a nice way to. So let me read that. technologie créée par de jeunes entreprises innovantes à fort potentiel de croissance. So that's pretty much what all our audience is about. Everybody's working on these very nice tech projects. Uh, they cover up to half of your expenses, and it goes in waves. Actually, the next opportunities you have to showcase your projects is on the 2nd of November, and then they go through waves. So you guys know we love those programs. So uh, this is the next one in line. This is, let's say, the freshest one. So if you're up to if you have some plans on technologies, try to apply to this one. And the other one is dialogue. Do you want to talk about it, Simon?
Sure. As I said, like open innovation is new. I think the first thing that the word that comes to my mind is collaboration. And this news is all about collaboration too. So Dialogue, we recently saw Alexis. So the company, they have partnership with the Breast Cancer Foundation, Quebec Breast Cancer Foundation. And it's basically a virtual clinic for diagnosis of breast cancer, and the whole clinic is actually staffed by the medical members. And I think this is a really good example of open innovation on how the medical fields and the startup field, the tech field, is actually joining hands to do something, especially at the time of COVID when things are very high, and at the same time it's like something which is the social distancing measures. So I think this is really good open innovation example for me too. What do you think, Valentine?
I like that project. I mean, I had, I think literally a year ago, this discussion of like, why isn't more available to do those kind of virtual clinics? The needs here, we talked a few times about how COVID is definitely have some constraints, but definitely it's pushing some mindset changes. We'll have Alexis right after he's behind, obviously, a dialogue. And if you have any questions for Alex, you can write them down in the chat. We'll have them for the deep dive section. But before we go to the deep dive section, let's go for the spot, not the spotlight. Sorry, we changed the schedule a bit. Let's go for the next section. Thanks, Dennis, for your quick reaction time. So what next section is essentially where we help you stay busy. I think you have too much empty slots in your schedule, and we want to help you fix that by adding you more and more events and things to do. We're evil that way. So essentially, the first one I have on my schedule is this week 8-week program for early stage scientific. Basically, it's the biohub from District 3. I'm actually really curious about this one. So I went through a District 3 program a few years ago. It was really interesting, and now they have this project for biohub, so for those technologies specifically. And the thing that interests me is that it seems to be a new location. Dennis, if you scroll completely towards the end, they have this for everyone who's been at District 3. It's a fantastic space. Apparently, that place was not fantastic enough, and they go for another place. So yeah, here you have this preview, Dennis. So there's a new place. It's starting September 27th. For I mean, sorry, starting. You have to apply by September 27th if you're curious, if you want to play in that field. So obviously, everything that relates to biorbits, your typical kind of STEM layout. And what they offer is, of course, kind of their specific sauce of weekly workshops, a lot of networking. I met some very interesting contacts, and they ask you about a part-time commitment for those things, right? So it's not just a project you do on the side, maybe a few hours. If you want to move along and work with those coaches, you really need to put your work in there. I know that program was very exhausting when I was there, but exhausting in a good way. It definitely moved more in a few weeks than it would have moved otherwise. So that's for me and some District 3 love on my end. Simran, what's on your schedule?
I think the BioHub program is pretty new. I heard about the QCSE program, and
Yes.
again, I wanted to talk about the QCSE program too. So it's again a 13 weeks program by District 3. Same concept. It's really to help researchers who are working on in their academia side to kind of launch on the more product market side. So the 13 weeks program kind of goes from discovery field for 2 weeks, and then the 8 weeks kind of working on their project and prototypes, and then in the launching fields. Coming from academia, I think Valentine, you will relate it to. A lot of researchers,
Yeah.
they have this amazing research going on, and something that they find pretty hard is more of like how to find a right product market, how to kind of know about what's happening them around. So I think District 3 is doing an amazing job for that. And they are looking for their fall cohort. So apply before October 1st to be part of this amazing program. Yeah.
Nice. And it's true. More of those programs right now, the structure, the methodology follows the lean startup methodology. And especially when you're from research, when I, for example, finished my master, you so much in your research and your technology, you kind of forget there's humans out there, aka the market. Hi, audience. You also name market. Nice to meet you. But essentially, it really forces you to think about who needs your product first, and then kind of worry more about the technology, where sometimes we tend to do things the other way around. So let me look at my schedule. I think I have some time left and available. What else can we do, Simran?
So another thing, something super cool, and I think I remember I took part in this hackathon 2 years back. So it's a space challenge, international space challenge. It's basically a space hackathon that happens all around the world. So the Canadian Space Agency is kind of partnering for the Canadian chapter as well. I think Ilias will talk more maybe when he comes as well. But like they have a Toronto chapter, they have an Ottawa chapter, and I know they're trying to do something with Montreal too. And when I took part, they basically give you all the data from NASA. So you
Oh,
can
nice.
kind of, for the whole weekend, you kind of work on that and find solutions for some of the things. It's really good because it's like you finding a real-time solutions for something, working with the team, and it's with combinations with a lot of like NASA and then Canadian Space Agency. So I think, yeah, so keep a look for wherever you are, if you're from Toronto or Ottawa or Montreal, maybe like have a look for this.
This is fantastic. I like when we have real cases. You know, when you have real data. It's when I was teaching, for example, I'd always grab all the content, and I'll fill like hard drive filled with content, and I'll give it to my students. And like, you want to work on a real project. You know, that's real projects. You have to fix that. Because
And
data is not perfect. You have to clean it. You have to work around constraints. It's fantastic.
And I think these kind of challenges do a good job because like you have data, like there's data outside, but like you don't want to work on certain projects, but keeping you in this close constraints with kind of people who are trying to do the same thing, it makes you do the work. So
It is true. And speaking of actually doing the work and work with real problems, let's go to the last piece of your schedule that you should fill it up, and it's the Coopérathon. So now we have Ilias
perfect.
that's been involved in it for a while, but we're not gonna bring him on stage because I know he's gonna make like those fantastic introductions. But we'll keep him for the deep dive. Let's keep him warm there. I will talk about my experience at Coopérathon. Honestly, I've done it twice actually. My team, I'm working on a startup, and we went twice to Coopérathon. And essentially, I really like the challenge. They're doing it this year again, and of course, because of COVID, it's going to be a remote event. And it also has its perks. It means it's more accessible for people with weird schedules that cannot just simply move right and left, that are busy and are not necessarily, you know, from Montreal or the cities. It happens in many cities, but that it opens up the whole Canada in practice. So it's virtual this time. It follows the same idea where you have 10 challenges that are given by real organizations. And you can either come up with an idea that you already have or meet a bunch of new people and create a solution around a real problem. I found it fantastic. I know some startups kept working on it. They met some new partners and such. I love my experience. I mean, I've done it twice. I wouldn't do it twice if I, if I didn't like it the first time. Funny enough, Simran too was involved in Coopérathon. And if you feel like it's a bunch of people right and left involved, it's because it's one of the biggest event in this type in Canada. It also has it's spreading slowly elsewhere. But it's a very specific kind of event about open innovation, and it has a huge core of like with a social component into it. So there's not that many events like it. So that's why we're so passionate about it. Of course, Montreal NewTech is in itself a nonprofit organization, so we have extra love for hackathons and such that play that same field. Speaking of which, I know Ilias is like burning to talk more about it. So I'm gonna invite Ilias for the deep dive section. Simran, I'll see you at the end of the show. Ilias, take the floor. Simran, watch Ilias if he takes too much time, right? Just unleash the. Cool. You have the show floor.
Yeah, thank you
Hi.
very much. Merci, Valentin, pour la belle présentation. Thank you, Simran, for the news. As always, like there is so much to be said, and it's awesome because our ecosystem is growing so fast. There are many people who are taking action to help move it even forward. So are you excited as well to talk and to dive a bit deeper with our two awesome guests coming up in a few seconds?
Yeah.
Awesome. So our next guests are actually marrying the old and the new, but in the spirit of transformation and social impact as well. So we're really lucky. Like when you think about opera and music in general, it has been on earth forever and renewing itself even more so in these times. And the other is a startup that is just 4 years old, but is growing as crazy and having a huge impact on our society as well. So let's welcome Catherine and Alexis from Dialogue and Opera de Montreal. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Good to have you with us. Well, we're lucky to know you a bit, but I would love if for our audience here, if you could give us a little introduction on yourself. So maybe ladies first, Catherine. En français ou en anglais, on est bilingue, on est ici basé à Montréal.
Oui, ben donc Catherine Gentilcore, je suis présentement la directrice des communications du marketing à l'Opéra de Montréal. Moi, I'm a former singer, donc j'étais une chanteuse d'opéra de formation. Puis j'ai passé 5 ans de ma vie dans les médias, donc j'ai été 5 ans au Devoir où j'ai beaucoup collaboré au virage numérique du Devoir, à instaurer tout ce qui avait trait aux applications mobiles et tout ça, donc j'ai beaucoup baigné là-dedans. Et là, c'est un retour aux sources en revenant à l'Opéra de Montréal, donc avec ce beau projet d'innovation en fait qui est en cours, donc oui, vraiment très heureuse de ça.
Super, super. Et Alexis, on a la chance de t'avoir dans notre écosystème depuis un moment et ta contribution est vraiment majeure, tant dans les petits événements, les hackathons, les conférences, les workshops que tu en as donné vraiment beaucoup et bien d'autres choses. Tu as fait partie de beaucoup de startups auparavant qui les a amenés au succès. Puis aujourd'hui, on parle de dialogue. Tu peux nous en parler un petit peu plus?
Oui, merci Ilias. Content de supporter cet événement aussi. Ben écoute, Dialogue, c'est une compagnie, comme tu l'as dit, on l'a fondée. Je suis un des cofondateurs de la compagnie qu'on a fondée il y a 4 ans, un petit peu plus. C'est une compagnie dans le domaine de santé virtuelle. Donc, depuis ces 4 ans, on a eu une croissance assez forte et on est en ce moment la plus grande clinique virtuelle au Canada. Donc, si on regarde la quantité de gens, par exemple, qui passent à travers nos portes virtuelles de notre clinique, c'est plus que 1000 personnes. Donc, c'est au-delà de n'importe quel hôpital au Canada. Donc, c'est un peu ça, Dialogue.
Wow. Ben, en fait, le timing ne pouvait pas être meilleur. Timing couldn't have been better. Yeah, Simran, so.
So, hi, Catherine. Hi, Alexis. I've been hearing a lot from Ilias and from Coopérathon about both Dialogue and Opera de Montreal. And as I said, even like you guys were here regarding open innovation, I think it's all about collaboration. And I think both of you are best examples for that. Music and tech, and then medical science and tech. It's something amazing. I wanted to ask, is like, especially during this time, what do you think open innovation is like kind of playing a role, especially during time of COVID?
Je peux peut-être plonger là-dedans. En fait, moi, ce que je trouve intéressant, c'est que même pas au niveau technologique, pas au niveau de l'innovation, mais au niveau de la collaboration at large, on n'avait jamais vécu ça dans le domaine artistique. C'est-à-dire qu'on a eu tellement de réunions avec l'ensemble du milieu culturel montréalais, québécois. Il y a vraiment une grande ouverture en ce moment, en fait, à s'entraider plus que jamais. L'aspect de compétition a comme un peu tombé en ce temps-ci. Je trouve que c'est une opportunité en ce moment oui, nous, on est leader de ce projet-là d'innovation, mais d'amener ces connaissances-là à l'ensemble du milieu culturel québécois, puis même au-delà de ça, nous, on est avec les compagnies d'opéra nord-américaines au grand complet. Donc, c'est vraiment une opportunité en ce moment de transférer les connaissances de manière encore plus efficace parce que cette ouverture-là, en temps de COVID, de vraiment s'entraider puis de se soutenir les uns les autres. Fait que ça, en tout cas, je trouve qu'en ce moment, le contexte est vraiment propice à ça. Je sais pas ce que tu en penses, Alexis.
Yeah, totally agree. I think this period really highlights how the ingredients we have in our community come together to really increase engagement around common projects, and people are kind of bringing down barriers between organizations, and we see that obviously the example that we just gave with Breast Cancer Society, but there's so many others. The one example that I'd like to give is at the beginning of COVID, when there was true lack of reliable information. Dialogue, Mila, and a few other folks put together a consortium to build an open source question answering chatbot that would deliver reliable information from government sources to people to learn more about COVID. It came together very, very quickly. Kind of research institutions, software development teams came together to build this, and that's just a highlight of how much this period really kind of drives engagement. Everybody's pitching in to help.
Speaking of, sorry, go ahead, Simran.
No, I just wanted to say I didn't know about the whole project, and I think the starting of COVID as well. I know I felt very overwhelmed with all the news, and especially on Twitter, and even I'm from India, so the WhatsApp in India was blowing up with all the false images. So I think I just wanted to say I really found the project cool.
Absolutely, and I think these kind of collaborations, when we hear Mila, Dialogue, and so many. Both mixing researchers, entrepreneurs, and large organizations or enterprises, I think it really is at the core of what we're talking when we talk about open innovation, because you need this expertise at different level, as well as the market expertise and the I would say the incumbent understanding of the problem. In our case here, and I know we don't have that much time, but we can talk all day about how great it is, but how can we get into the action? What do you see, whether it's through Coopérathon or examples as well, Alexis said, as actionable items for people who are behind their screens and who want to actually contribute or have an impact, etc., in both business-wise and in our society?
Catherine, you want to go first?
No.
Well, listen. Thank you for this question. We're here, of course, because we do want to let everybody know about upcoming Coopérathon, and we are participating in this event. We're putting together a very, very specific, actionable challenge to participants. So in our case, the challenge is quite simple. Take a healthcare specialty that is currently provided only through physical contact and make it virtual. Think about the barriers that this specific healthcare specialty has to be virtualized, to be provided over online or virtual modality, and bring down those barriers. So if you want to learn more about that challenge, there's more details on Coopérathon. Yesterday we had an announcement. I think there is a recording of that. Learn more, and I'm happy to answer questions about this too.
Wonderful. Well, and indeed, if there are people who have questions who are either listening now or who will listen afterward, feel free to ask those questions. Alexis is super busy. He's the co-founder. We're very happy to have him, but he's making himself available. That's really, really awesome. Thank you very much for that. I will dive a bit deeper, but I will give the chance for Catherine to tell us as well. Why are you here? What is your call for action for everybody around?
Oui, à l'Opéra de Montréal, ça fait 2 ans en fait qu'on travaille sur un grand projet de recherche qui est financé par Opera America, qui est, comme je le disais tout à l'heure, l'organisation qui chapeaute en fait toutes les maisons d'opéra en Amérique du Nord. On s'est rendu compte là, dans les 2 dernières années que le modèle d'engagement ne fonctionnait pas du tout pendant des années, et pas juste à l'opéra, là, dans la musique classique en général. Abonnement était synonyme d'engagement, mais on se rend bien compte dans les dernières années que c'est plus ça qui se passe. Les gens s'abonnent de moins en moins tant au théâtre qu'à l'opéra, qu'à l'orchestre, parce que l'offre est tellement grande. Donc, ce qu'on essaie de faire avec ce projet-là, nous, c'est de mobiliser la communauté technologique et start-up à Montréal, qui est incroyable, pour nous aider à trouver des nouveaux modèles d'engagement, puis à trouver des nouvelles façons de mesurer l'engagement de nos audiences, puis de les impliquer aussi. Puis nous, on est convaincus à l'Opéra de Montréal que ça passe par la communauté, par le développement de la communauté, puis par l'implication de l'Opéra de Montréal dans sa communauté. Donc, on essaie vraiment de trouver des façons, justement, d'avoir des ramifications un peu partout, et avec toutes les communautés fortes à Montréal. Puis on trouvait que la communauté tech, la communauté universitaire, c'était des communautés auxquelles on voulait se greffer puis avec lesquelles on voulait évoluer. Donc, c'était un parfait mix. Puis en ce moment, je vous dirais que toutes les maisons d'opéra là, en Amérique du Nord ont les yeux tournés vers nous parce que c'est le premier grand projet d'innovation comme ça qui est mené dans notre domaine. Puis avec les petites équipes qu'on a, très souvent, c'est une question de ressources. Les équipes ne peuvent pas se permettre d'aller vers ces projets-là. Puis là, on a les moyens de le faire. Donc, on est comme super excités.
Ben, on l'est aussi. Puis sincèrement, comme je disais tout à l'heure, tu sais, que ce soit dans la musique ou dans la santé, c'est vraiment des belles opportunités justement de ces échanges-là. En parlant de beaucoup de moyens, les entrepreneurs, quand ils commencent, ils n'ont pas forcément beaucoup de moyens. Là, on est vraiment content de voir, par exemple, que Dialogue a levé un peu plus de 40 millions. Ils ont fait plusieurs levées de fonds, sont supportés par plusieurs acteurs. Ça serait quoi un peu les prochaines étapes? Je sais que d'une part, Dialogue est en plein recrutement. They're growing as crazy. So whether you're a software engineer or a person who can contribute to the company itself, feel free to reach out to them. Go on dialogue.co. Check them out. They have like a great leadership team as well as great values. But also so I think that's a given. But also on the other hand, for aspiring entrepreneur, what is your message to them? Like, let's say I'm trying to launch and to answer such a challenge. I want to take healthcare where it's never been before. I want to really innovate on that. What is your message towards us? Maybe I can meet up with like engineers, etc., etc. Is there a message there?
Yeah, listen, healthcare is so much larger than what's currently being delivered over virtual modality. We've seen a tremendous increase in virtual care adoption, primarily around family medicine, primary care, obviously, COVID questions, but healthcare is so much larger. So we're really witnessing a transition from physical first to digital first healthcare. And so if you take that large view, there's so many specific things that that people can do to solve specific questions, specific issues around this large problem. And the good news is there are platforms like Dialogue that can take on and extend and kind of host your solution to really deliver this to millions of people. So we are. You've asked, what's next for Dialogue? Well, we are driving that virtual care forward, and we're deeply interested in offering more and more programs to people. And so that's why we're super encouraged to see the interest in this project in the community.
Wow, that's wonderful. And what about you, Catherine? What's your CTA for the entrepreneurs?
Ben, en fait, pour les entrepreneurs, je ne sais pas, mais moi, je sais que de notre côté, c'est justement chacun des organismes culturels et son propre entrepreneur, en quelque part. On est vraiment là à faire notre chemin. Nous, au Québec, on est pas mal les seuls. Donc, je dirais que la meilleure façon de faire, c'est vraiment de se tourner vers les gens autour de soi puis de se tourner vers la force de la communauté qu'on a. Justement, je reviens à ça parce que je pense que c'est vraiment une force qu'on a puis une force sur laquelle on doit construire, sur laquelle on doit bâtir. Fait que c'est vraiment là-dessus, nous, en tout cas, qu'on va miser. Puis je trouve qu'en ces temps-ci, c'est d'autant plus important, puis ça va être d'autant plus capital pour, en tout cas, nous, pour la survie de notre secteur, carrément.
Absolument, absolument. Ben, écoutez, j'espère et je pense réellement que tant l'Opéra que Dialogue vont avoir des solutions super intéressantes qui vont sortir à travers le Coopérathon, mais même au-delà. Et je pense que là où on est rendu, le travail qui a été fait, le cheminement, ben, je te connais moins, Catherine, que le cheminement d'Alexis, mais je le pense vraiment que c'est la force de l'écosystème, c'est celle de passer au suivant, de s'y impliquer. Et je sais qu'on a beaucoup parlé du Coopérathon parce que le Coopérathon commence la semaine prochaine, mais honestly, and from what I've seen over the almost last decade in our ecosystem, is the more you give to the ecosystem, the more you get involved, the more you get back. There are amazing people, and like I saw Alexis and yourself yesterday, putting your email out there, being like, hey, if you have any question or if you have any potential solution, don't be shy, ask the questions. The Montreal NewTech, the Coopérathon, the Desjardins teams are behind this initiative, but it's also much more. And the idea behind the webcast, and we hope that we will be able to sustain it for a bit longer, is to hopefully inspire people to contribute, to participate, to answer your challenges, but also throughout the ecosystem to take advantage of the resources and contribute to them as well. Écoutez, un gros merci. Je ne sais pas si vous avez un dernier message peut-être à passer avant qu'on finisse. On essaie de rester sur 12h30. Si vous voulez envoyer un message, now is the time. Otherwise, on va vous remercier. Puis essayez d'être respectueux de votre temps.
On a besoin de vos cerveaux, donc venez vous joindre à nous au Coopérathon. On va être vraiment excités de vous rencontrer.
Short call to action. Alexis, can you make one shorter? Can you do a call to action after a call to action after a call to action?
Well, we talked a lot about technology, but it's really takes multidisciplinary team to build to solve hard problems. And so I invite people to come together in these teams. If you look at Dialogue as an example, it's not just a software company. It's not just a group of medical professionals. It's this combination that makes it a world of difference. And so to people who are looking to join a project, don't be shy. Get together with software engineers, and that's how we're going to make this make a change. Really, we're looking to make.
Thank you very, very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Alexis, for these last words. They're actually even more important because we tend to forget when we talk about Montreal NewTech, we hear the word tech. But as Alexis highlighted, software engineers are not going to save the world themselves. Like, it's a lever, it's amazing people, and we need them. But we also need design thinking, people who understand the market, people who understand how people are, psychologists, people when we talk about healthcare. I think even like Alexis, half of his team of 800 and more people are medical professionals. They are hiring them as well. So if you're looking to join, but we need this diversity to be able to actually create sustainable solutions that take care of humans as well. And that's so crucial. So please, for everyone here, don't forget, share it, invite your friends, because you may think that it's not for them, but it actually is. And so thank you very much, Alexis, because we need citizens from all shape or form, all backgrounds that contribute and enrich each other.
Diversity. So that concludes the 7 minutes of call to actions. But see everyone in Coopérathon. Thanks again for your involvement, and see you here and there. Goodbye. Ciao, Alexis. Thanks again.
Thanks, Alexis.
Really appreciate it. Thank you very much,
Catherine. So, wow, okay. So that essentially concludes our webcast. I know we went fairly quickly here. Everybody has those busy schedules. Ilias, crazy week. Take it easy, right? It's a lot of stuff.
I think if we find a startup that can buy us time, that would be wonderful.
Yes, maybe there's no. Okay, let's not solve that problem. Simran, thank you again as well. So we do those concepts. Some people have been asking. We move slightly to only do 2 shows a month. We've been running kind of a special edition over summer because people were more available, and the need was honestly there to have more events like these in the community. So we were running once a week. Of course, we're a nonprofit, community-driven, so it requires a lot of time. We went into 2 episodes per month, so that's why we changed a bit of frequency. But we plan to add some special episodes called the Deeper Dive, which is Ilias doing a deep interview with one founder or somebody involved in the ecosystem. Right, so that's pretty much it. Oh, before I forget, we've been talking about Coopérathon. If you want to make it easy, I'll sacrifice myself humbly to put the QR code. You can grab your phone and see what is this Coopérathon thing we've been talking about. Right, it works. I tested the link, but as I said, I've been there twice. It's a fantastic event. See, Ilias is testing it. Ilias, do we have your approval? It works.
It actually works.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it actually works.
So we're closing the show.
It's free and it's worked. This is really awesome.
Exactly. So we're closing the show. If you stayed until this time, there's one thing you have to do. I'm not even asking. I'm just like, this is what's gonna happen. You have to share this show with people that are new to the ecosystem, that are veteran in there. There's a lot of wealth of information we're trying to share and curate for you. A lot of hours goes in there. Share it with the community. It's a fantastic time to, you stayed the whole time. just one click share, it goes a long way. And see you in about 2 weeks.
Vraiment, vraiment. And thanks so much, Valentin and Denis, who is not on screen, for actually, like, I don't know how you guys multitask all that. I know you are super busy as well. Like, many are involved in many, many things. So thank you so, so much for taking the time for that as well. And to make such a great show, because it happens like this, but there is a lot of work behind, like countless hours to make it happen. So thank you very, very much to you.
It's a ton of fun. We have a nice audience for that, really. So I'm gonna put the rolling credits here, and we're gonna wait in silence, just a few seconds to pretend, and like there's a music,
Yeah, exactly. Pretend, or like take the time to actually do that share that you were just talking about. And
exactly. And I'm gonna end the broadcast in about 3 seconds, and you're gonna